Welcome to the final episode of 2024, 50 Shades and Grey. Had a really exciting year, the first year of the podcast. We've had some great guests who have been funny, have been informative, and I've learned a hell of a lot through the first year of doing this podcast. The feedback from you guys has been great, and obviously without your support, there'd be no point in me doing this. So I'm so pleased that you've found something in the podcast that you want me to carry on doing it in season 2, which will start in January. The whole podcast for me this year has been a real big experience, and it's been about finding my way. We're going to look at some of the best bits of the episodes. Hope you enjoy them.
It's lovely putting something somewhere and no one moves it. It's lovely, like putting something somewhere and then it not be gone. And it's lovely as well knowing exactly what's in the fridge without knowing that someone might have ate it. That's what I love. Like, if I've got chocolate, I know it's going to be there at the end of the day. Whereas, like, you don't know whether it's going to still be there. Like, that's the risk you take. Like, has Exact might have ate that, and then you come in, and you got it.
It's just food in general.
Yeah. Whereas like I know exactly what's in my fridge. Like it's just nice. And also I think it's nice as well, like after a long busy day, just coming in and just kind of not having to like explain myself to anyone, I can just switch off, put on a movie, and then when you are feeling in that way, it is nice to be just kind of fully on your own. So there is definitely good things about it. It's just as well, like even though it's been hard.
I don't want to buy you presents that could be regarded as communal presents. Like, I don't know if couples have that, like married couples or even people, boyfriend and girlfriend.
What do you mean by communal presents?
As in, say I got you something for the house, like let's say a new Dyson Hoover. Although that's for you, you're not really going to open it and be like, you know what? Because it's just for the house and it's something that we can both use.
Yeah, don't buy me a Dyson
No, but
Hoover.
it's a good present though.
It's not.
Why?
If that's where, I don't want someone buying me a Hoover.
Yeah, but some people would appreciate that.
No one would appreciate getting a Hoover.
It's like Christmas. Saying if a husband, let's say,
right. I don't know a lot about relationships, but don't ever buy your girlfriend or wife a Hoover.
No, but let's say they bought something for the dog for the wife. It's like a communal present. Do you know what
that's
I mean?
An awful present. That's like literally zero thought.
Or like a new knife set.
What is wrong with you? They seem to be the pictures that I hear most of them from feedback. The guys are putting on pictures of them holding fish, and women are like, "What's all this about? Why do guys like show you fish?" You wouldn't do that if you was out. You wouldn't sort of get your phone and go, "Yeah, listen, have a look at this. This is the fish I caught at the weekend," because you know that girl is going to run a mile, or girls like. Why would you like headstands? What's the headstand thing about? You're not going to meet a guy out in a bar and go, "Do you want to see me do a headstand? I can do a headstand because I do yoga. I'm going to show you a headstand. Let me do it right here now." The guy's going to think, "Gee, what is going on here?" So our behaviour on apps is completely different to how we act in real life. And I get it doesn't work on the apps. So you need to be selling yourself. But has it got to that extreme now where we've just lost touch a little bit with reality from when we're going on to these apps? The whole ghosting thing, I guess that maybe happens in real life where you're talking to someone and then or someone's talking to you and you think, I just want out of here. So it's like I'm just going to go to the bathroom and you never go back. So I guess that's like the life equivalent of ghosting. But in terms of height, guys, this is the other thing I get a lot from women is that we keep lying about our height. You're not going to get away with that in real life. If you went up to a girl and you're like, let's say you're 5'6", 5'7", great height for guys. But if you go to the girl and just say, "Yeah, I'm 6'2", she knows you're not 6'2". Don't tell her you're 6'2" because she's looking at you. But we do it on the apps. On the apps, it's like, "Yeah, I'm 6'2". I mean, what are we hoping? In the hope that we're going to turn up and that we're going to blow them away with our personality and they're going to completely forget that we're 5'7" and they wanted a guy that was 6'2" because they're into taller guys. Hopefully, you would hope maybe they would. Realistically, not going to happen. Same with the hair thing. If you've got hair, great. If you haven't got hair, great. But don't sort of pretend that you have on these dating ads because, again, real life, if you're going up to a girl in a bar, you're not going to say, "Yeah, I've actually got hair," and she's looking at you and you've not got a hair on your head. She's going to know. Let me tell you that, you cannot get away with these things. It's the same with all these filters. You know, you're not going to show pictures to guys in real life of you of what you hope you look like. If you don't look like that, they're going to know what you look like because they're going to meet you. So make sure that whatever you're using is a reflection of what you actually look like, not something you fiddle about with an AI and change the bridge in your nose, how close your eyes are. Because when they meet you, they're going to know this. You wouldn't do it in real life. Like I said, you wouldn't show a guy a picture and go, look, this is what I should look like. You know, this picture here is what I should look like. Don't worry about what I look like now. This is what I actually look like. You're not going to fool people with this. So let's try and just keep the behavior of how we keep it on in real life. You know, just nice and simple. It may work better. And our opening lines, so it's the same with the recent picture things. You know, when people are going onto these apps, they're putting pictures up that are like 4 or 5 years old. I guess, I don't know what we're talking about. You can go back maybe a year or so, I guess, because a lot of us haven't got loads and loads of pictures on our phones of ourselves anyway. So, you know, you're probably going to have ones a year, but not 4 or 5 years old. You know, it's the same thing. You're not going to show people pictures of yourself 5 years ago if you met them in a bar. They're going to meet you in a bar. You're not going to go, well, actually, this is what I looked like 5 years ago. Or, you know, this is when I was 4 stone heavier or 5 stone lighter. You know, they don't care. All they're looking at is where you are now and what you look like now and how you are now. So just be straightforward with it. You know, these are my recent pictures. Put pictures on of you laughing. I mean, I think that's what attracts us to people as well, is how they are. You know, when you're looking at someone in wherever it may be you ever meet, where you meet them, you're going to be looking at how they interact with people. So maybe show those pictures, a picture of you laughing. You know, don't worry about if it's not the best picture in the world, but it shows that you're fun, I guess. You know, rather than these extravagant pictures of us sort of snowboarding and biking and, you know, balancing on one foot somewhere over the, you know, Outer Hebrides. You know, great if you got those pictures and you can do it. But, you know, people are not going to see that when they meet you out. They might get to know that in your life, but that's not going to be the be all and end all. They want to know that what sort of person you are. So if you're doing the apps at Christmas this year, keep it simple, keep it as real to you as you can be, I guess, would be my suggestion. Not going to say advice, not going to give you advice because we all need to find our own way and learn our own things. But from my experience and from speaking to a lot more women now who have given feedback about how guys act, and obviously speaking to guys, I know how women act. We're all trying to be the best versions of ourselves. I get it, but maybe we are the best versions of ourselves anyway. So just be that version that you actually are. Don't change things. Don't AI things. Don't exaggerate things. You know, be the person you are and you'll find the right person, I guess. And if not, like I keep saying, be happy on your own. Okay, if you're happy on your own, you're always going to be happy, and anything else that comes along is just going to be a bonus. But next time you're on the apps, think about how you'd act actually in real life maybe, and apply that to the app and see how that goes for you. You know, can it get any worse sometimes? they're a nightmare as it is at the best of times. So, and they're a lot of effort. So maybe just speak to one person, see where that goes. If that doesn't look like it's working out, fine, go on to someone else. But 5 or 6 at once, too much. It's too much. It's hard to keep bloody track of it, surely, as well, if you're doing that many. So who knows? You may lose people along the way that you actually could really like, and that could lead to something. Okay, so that's my advice for this time of year. Very quick, very short this time. Enjoy it. We'll be back soon. Thank you for following the podcast. Really appreciate all the support and all the message. But as a guy, did it bother you knowing that the person that you were just going, I'm talking to, I presume that you told the person this as well, did you?
Yeah. So I would tell them, and sometimes they would think that was really quite odd, they weren't comfortable with it. Like, what do you mean you're not talking to anyone else? Go and talk to other people. Like, this is too intense. Which I get, it's the way it is.
Needy.
Yeah, too needy. Yeah, you're too sensible about dating. Go and date loads of people. That's a much better idea. But yeah, so I did, and sometimes people thought, oh, that's a bit unusual, and other times people thought, oh, that's great. You're actually just into getting to know me. It's like, yeah.
And I just said to him, Bruce, I said, first of all, can I say I'm a huge fan of yours. I genuinely am, and I love some of the films that you've done, and I think you're really adventurous in some of the roles that you've chosen, including this film today. But can we just start afresh, because we got off to a bad start, and I'd like to ask you some proper serious questions about you and your craft. He spent about 30 seconds just going, looking me up and down like I was a little mouse. And then he goes, sure. And I go, thank you. Do you wear boxer shorts or briefs? As the first question. The whole room was already quiet, but everybody went even quieter. Their sphincters went, huh? And his publicist was like that. They were all like, how dare this idiot say that? He looked at me and he took about 10 seconds and then he burst out laughing. He actually thought, I can't believe somebody's been that cheeky twice.
I thought it was really nice. I thought everyone was really genuine, great characters. Being honest, I think it lacked a bit of spice. I think, for example, we spoke to Paul after the first week, which I thought was good, really good, solid first week. And he said, oh, it really gets going in the second week. And I am still waiting. But I thought there'd be more turns, twists and turns. I just think everyone was so nice in there. And I thought this season, the one thing I said is I thought it'd be a lot more entertaining. And I use quotation marks because I think production-wise, they would have had a lot more twists and turns, a lot more triangles, a lot more back and forth. And it was just still sort of the same vibe, and I thought there'd be more figures in there to cause stirs and a few more arguments, but it was pretty much the same, but less so, I'd actually say.
One is the fact that therapy creates that space to talk, and we don't always have that in life. You have to feel safe to be able to open up and to be vulnerable. And if you don't have that in your day-to-day life, or you haven't cultivated those relationships to that point yet, then having that really intentional space with a therapist can encourage that process along. So yeah, I think having a therapist, going through therapy, it's a journey that you start on, and it's really intentional. And hopefully, and I think what all therapists hope is that as you grow in confidence in opening up, and as you feel accepted, as you feel validated, then you might start feeling more able to have those conversations with people around you.
I did send you a voice note. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
He sent me a voice note saying I'll listen to the podcast.
Oh, it was very interesting. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
So funny.
I told you guys, which is a bit.
No, you didn't.
I've said to you.
You told us that you were going to tell us.
But which I can't go into. Yeah. But it's you're.
Can we have the world exclusive?
This is the exclusive, but I've got something coming up in the next kind of few months, which you guys will be involved in.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And how will you
find out? That's not an exclusive when you don't tell us.
No, but I can't go into details at the moment.
You've got me.
Yeah.
So it's not an exclusive.
I will try to keep my journey short because it was a fairly long one in understanding what was happening to me. But I guess if I start around about the age of 41. I'd just had my third child. So, you know, a sort of later pregnancy, geriatric pregnancy is actually what they call it. I thought that the symptoms that I had were perhaps related to being a mum of 3, having a young child, and I didn't really understand. I mean, I myself didn't know anything about perimenopause, menopause. And I went to the GP and they just sort of asked me about my life. They thought it was depression. A lot of women do get diagnosed with depression or misdiagnosed with depression when it's perimenopause. But I'm quite a good advocate for my own health.
You're awake, but good luck to you.
Yeah, I've been away more in the past year than I have in my whole of my life. So, yeah.
Oh, that's great. Well, I know like since the show that your life has changed quite a lot. But what I wanted to focus on today was just talking about your life before the show. Because obviously people have seen and watched that. But like you said before we came on, like we all actually had lives before the show. So,
yes.
So what was you doing before the show?
Yeah,
tell everyone what you was doing.
Well, obviously I was single. So, yeah, single mum to William, who is just about to turn 21. It's been myself and him for a long time. And like probably a lot of single parents, it's a bit of a juggling act. So I have always been a singer, and I decided that it would be a good idea to throw myself more into singing. One of the main reasons would be so I could sing at weekends and be with William in the week, because in my head I could earn more doing that, and then that would like balance it out, and I could do the school run and things like that. But then,
Were you hoping then, by the way, Elliot, for different oils? Were you hoping the garlic one, you were going to be like, Theo just said chop it small? And he's done like a 15-minute conversation on the flavours of garlic. Yeah, exactly. So the bigger the, so go on. So oil, you were saying then? Yeah, so I think the deal with that is, so that's always been the narrative, has been the smoking point of oil. So like vegetable oil, rapeseed oil, etc., has a high burning point. So it's good to fry stuff in. An extra virgin olive oil has a low burning point, so you shouldn't use it. So there's a couple of things. Number one, like being Greek Cypriot, we use extra virgin olive oil for everything. We use it for...
Apart from David. David didn't go to bed.
David was still there.
Yeah, they didn't let David go to bed.
Beverage or probably
David was what they like you to do is they go, David, can you...
Pondering.
And David
didn't have it in him.
David was so uncomfortable on the couch he was on that he had no pondering left.
He was shattered.
He was shattered. Yeah, because that's a long day. That first day is a long day. You're sitting outside in a car for about 4 hours, no food, like no water. No, they do look after you, to be fair. They do. They're really good ITV. And the crew there are fabulous. So they do look after you. But it's a long day. So David just wanted to go to bed. David was shattered and he was pondering away, more pondering, because David, to add, fessed up to his last relationship. And again, fair play to David. Your partner forgetting your birthday, anniversary, date night, etc. Your partner not making you a priority. Not seeing your partner for long periods of time. Your partner not being intimate with... I mean, it's quite an easy one for me.
Yeah.
What, the last one?
Yeah, hands down.
Yeah, I think there's maybe more of a guy thing because guys
But intimate's more than just like saucy, like
a
kiss and a cuddle.
I don't really get the criticising you in a non-constructive way. How can you criticise someone in a non-constructive way?
You can.
Can you?
Yeah, like, oh, you look so fat. That's not...
I think that's constructive.
That's non-constructive. No, because it would be like, do you think you should go... Should we both go to the gym tonight? It's constructive because it's
what if you're in really good shape?
How about if he says, should we both go to the gym tonight? I'll meet you there. in an hour.
You can run that.
A situation ship.
A situationship. Well, that's what the kids are calling it. Normally, it's like not a great thing. It's what mostly guys do to women, where they want them around for a little bit. They want to have some sex, maybe a couple of dates. And when they can't be bothered and they mostly want to go out with their friends and concentrate on their job, they kind of push them to the side, right? So it's like that you're in, but you're not in. They're not committed to you in any way, but you're like a girlfriend, but you're not their girlfriend, right? So we make a joke that we're kind of in a situationship because we meet up for a couple of weeks every 3 months or so and have this like amazing, it's like almost like having a honeymoon every time because we have these great times and lots of sex and it's fantastic, and then we fuck off again, and then we have our lives separate in separate countries where we chat online and do that kind of stuff, but we're not in each other's pockets. We don't owe each other anything.
One conversation can change everything so quickly, like one line.
Absolutely.
We had this conversation, the other day, didn't we? Where something can be going great with someone. You could be seeing someone and all the signs are there. You're having all the right conversations. And then there could be one sentence that just suddenly changes the landscape.
They don't like.
Yeah, either they don't like or you don't like. And that's the thing, you think as you get older as well, that you only need the slightest thing to go, I know I don't like that. And I'm not getting over that, whether it may be, young kids, you find out that someone, I know you'd find that it's early, but as it starts to get more serious, know that like I've had stories before where people sort of say, and then all of a sudden they said to me, they don't want to get involved with someone who's got young kids. And it was, they just can't be single. They cannot be on their own. They cannot be on their own in a house, in a situation. They can't turn up to a party on their own or a wedding on their own. And I think, people that are good at being single, they're very strong-minded people. They're very confident in themselves. Maybe not outwardly all the time, but they're at peace in their own mind. And that's a really big aspect of it as well. You've got to be comfortable on your own, and you've got to enjoy your own company. And it's funny, with our kids, and you see the traits in them. And even with Zach now, I look at him sometimes, and he's so happy to be on his own sometimes. He's quite content. He loves company. He loves going out in company, the same as me. But there are times when he can just be on his own. He just likes his own company. And I think that's a really good quality to have. I've loved listening to you. It's been an education. It really has been an education for me. I would just like to say thank you for coming on and talking about this. I've just felt like I've sat here and just listened to you, which is great. I wish you was my GP. That's the best compliment I can pay you, I think. It's so great listening to you. So thank you. Philippa's book obviously is out. If you're going to spend your money on anything, I would suggest that you go out and buy Philippa's book, The Science of Menopause. Because I think, as Philippa's already said, having knowledge is a great deal of power, and that gives you a place to start. And I think it's really important that we all talk about it, and for men as well in relationships to understand it, Philippa. I think that's really important as well, as you said already. But thank you for coming on to 50 Shades of Grey. Thank you for your time. I know you've been extremely busy. I really appreciate it. And thank you all for listening.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I'll put all Philippa's details on here. You can follow Philippa on her Instagram, see her all the time on TV as well, and go out and get her book. And we'll see you soon. Thank you for following 50 Shades of Grey.
So, I mean, like, I understand how relationships work. I understand after a certain period of time, it does sometimes get what people class as boring. But in my eyes, that's not boring. That's just becoming one. Do you know what I mean? One with each other. That's becoming family, and that's what you want basically in a long-term relationship. So I think she didn't really see that in the relationship. She just saw it. Oh, it got boring. It's got boring, and then it kind of ended like that. But it's like, I don't get me wrong. I was devastated. Like, because I felt so blindsided, but I just didn't expect it at all. Like, her family were my family, if that makes sense. Like, it was just like a normal day. So I had to change my whole life. Like, I lost my home, my pet, like her family, which is mine. I lost everyone. So it was a big, big time in my life. But if I'm honest, I'm thankful because it helped me grow up.
So you've used a lot of words there that obviously I think have become more common in terms of love language and attachment styles. And do you think those are just miscommunications in relationships where people don't have those conversations in the early stages? Or do you think it's just...
I think all all these tests are free online, so you can do these all free online. I think all these little tests and investigations and tools that you can use when you're building your relationship, I think they just give you language. I think they give you language to start a conversation. So there's 5 love languages are time, touch, words of affirmation, acts of service, and gifts. So, say we do the little test and our love language comes out as time and gifts. It opens up a conversation and says things like, what was the favorite gift? What's your favorite gift I ever bought you? Did you like that really expensive thing, or did you actually just like it when I brought you home that little packet of sweets the other day from the shop? I think it gives us language to start the conversations. That make sense?
I think my perspective is I'm someone, my highest value is having integrity. So I wouldn't ever pretend or fake anything, any connection. If I don't feel a connection, you'd be able to see it all over my face, because I also am so crap at lying or faking things. It's unreal. So, for me, that it was a completely real connection. I didn't expect it. You go in there hoping, don't you? For me, I've been on my own for 7 years. I think it's 7 years. I always get very confused, but I've been on my own a long time. So I definitely had a real strong desire to meet someone to, do life with. So, when I first got in there, I did look around and I was like...
That was it for 2024. Some great guests that we had on there, as I'm sure you will agree. Let me know what your favourite moment is, who your favourite guest was, and we will look forward to doing the all again in 2025. Make sure you subscribe and follow below. And once again, thank you for joining 50 Shades in Grey. Take care, guys. Bye.